what you're having right now has more protein than beef. It has more iron than steak, more omegas than salmon, more calcium than milk, more antioxidants than blueberries.
Super meat.
It is a super meat. If you think about meat and say, okay, well, it has to come from chickens, cows, and pigs, there's only so much efficiency you can wring out of that system. So we need to think about it differently. I'm Ethan Brown. I'm the founder and CEO of Beyond Meat, and our mission is to create meat directly from plants.
For decades, people have attempted to make imitation meat out of plants, but the appeal of those products has been limited because, well, the imitation has never been that convincing.
What is meat? I think about it from the perspective of what's in meat. And that's, lipids, it's amino acids, it's carbohydrates, it's minerals, and it's water, none of which have exclusive residence in the animal. They're abundant in the plant kingdom. So what we're doing is extracting them from plants, and then we're going ahead and assembling them in the architecture of animal protein or muscle. And by doing that, we're providing meat directly from plants.
So what makes Beyond Meat different than its predecessors is that instead of trying to take a product like tofu and pass it off as chicken, it's figuring out what makes chicken chicken and then rebuilds it from the molecular level. You might think that the key to creating a convincing imitation of meat is getting the taste just right. And flavor is important, but it turns out it's not the most important thing.
When I think about the single most important innovation that we were able to create, it really gets back to the texture. I think it really dates back to kind of our familiarity with animal protein, with that feeling on the teeth.
They're able to create this unique texture through a combination of heating, cooling, and pressurizing the proteins naturally found in plants. All right, I'm going to try some of this chicken.
All right.
The texture is really the key here. I mean, you get that feeling of, you use that word fibrous.
Right.
Stringy in a good way.
Right. Without the structure, without the fiber, I think you're not going to get that mainstream penetration.
Ethan's company is currently selling two kinds of plant-based meats, chicken strips and ground beef. The company is preparing its next product, one that aims right at the heart of meat eaters, a burger. That's a way taller order than some ersatz chili, but Brown and his team think they have an edge. See, once you start rebuilding meat from the ground up, you can do more than just make a facsimile of it. You can actually make it better.
So what you're having right now has more protein than beef. It has more iron than steak, more omegas than salmon, more calcium than milk, more antioxidants than blueberries.
Super meat.
It is a super meat.
And if they are able to create these true superfoods, the question becomes, are we eventually going to see a meatless future?
I don't think it's necessarily realistic to think that people are going to stop consuming meat. I think a niche population is going to do that. If you look at human health, you look at heart disease, diabetes, cancer, these national epidemics we have, they are correlated with meat consumption. If you look at climate change, where greenhouse gas emissions are due to livestock, I can make an impact in each of those areas simply by changing out the amino acids at the center of the dinner plate. That's really exciting.
For decades, meat alternatives have been stuck in the health food ghetto. Beyond Meat hopes to break out of that, not by converting all of us to veganism and not by magically recreating an entire steak, but by nudging us to plant-based alternatives that are indistinguishable from the real thing. If they're right, if you can't tell the difference between, say, chicken and Beyond Meat chicken, and their product is better for you and the environment, the company is betting its future on the hope that you are about to become much more of a vegetarian than you planned.